Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It has been quite a while and I am so excited about today's project. Well, it'll definitely not be today. If you remember from about a year ago, I made this project. It was my giant Pokeball. Turn it and open it up. There's a speaker inside. Well, clearly nobody has purchased that yet. But as soon as I finished this project, a couple of my friends said, oh, well, if you did the Pokeball, of course, you need to do a Death Star, because I'm a giant Star Wars fan. This is one of my many Star Wars t-shirts. I'm going to be wearing them throughout this whole video. So I've been thinking about this project for about a year, trying to figure out how to do it. And it would be super easy for me to just make, a big sphere and then do the big circle on it, whatever that thing's called, the laser thing. But of course, I don't want to do the Death Star from A New Hope, that one, because that would just be too easy. I want to try and do the Death Star from Return of the Jedi, this one. Now, the special thing is in Return of the Jedi, it's not complete yet. So how do I take something that's solid, big sphere that's completely done, but make it look like it's under construction? So there were several lessons learned from doing this. My last video, I made the little lidded box thing that was a leftover piece from this, because I had made this layer, the second layer in here, too small. So this is the top and the bottom. So this piece is solid. The next one is fairly wide, and then everything else is just a standard segmented ring, just like a standard segmented bowl I've done a bunch of. So these three rings are fairly easy. So what I think I'm going to do is replace some of, not all of, some of these segmented rings with just a clear acrylic piece instead of wood, I think. So then I'll take like this section over here, see if I can look at, so this section over here, take out some of these pieces, some down here, but keep the middle ring, and this is going to be solid instead of this indented one. So keep this solid, and then some of these up here are going to be acrylic, and down here, and then the top and bottom are going to be solid. And then over here is going to be the laser thing, because it's fully functional weapon in Return of the Jedi. So that's the plan. It's going to take me a while. Enjoy. While I'm cutting and gluing those, I also need to start pouring solid bars of resin. So I have a mold from Crafted Elements. They are 1x1 by 12 inches long, and it's a double mold. I think I calculated I have to do that 3 times, so I'll need 6 bars, and I might need more than that. And I'll throw up a little short video of that. It's nothing too exciting, mixing a little resin, pouring it just clear, so nothing too exciting there. Alright, well, I got the first 2 rings gluing and drying. I'm going to start cutting the rings for the next ones. Here, I got my plans up here stuck to my bandsaw. So we got these 2 rings are now cut and gluing. So I'm going to start cutting this ring. So next ring segments are 2.12 inches wide, and these ones are going to be 1.33 inches. Normally I would cut mine at 1 inch, and the rest of them are all going to get cut at 1 inch. But that segment has to be cut a little wider. But luckily, let's go over here. I have this long piece, and this was left over this project, my bookshelf I recently did. So big long piece. So we're going to start cutting that now. So if we're doing 12 segments, but I know some of these segments are going to be acrylic. I can't remember how many off the top of my head. So at most I'm going to need 24 segments, because 12 times for 2 rings, then minus a few. I think I'll just do 20 segments and cut more if I need it. I do love it when my ideas come out. So this is going to be, one of these is going to be the top ring, one of these is going to be the bottom ring. But we have walnut and then 2 acrylic pieces. So I'm going to glue those and then glue the ring. Now, one thing I haven't talked about, in order to try to add some of the smaller detail, what I'm going to do is going to take all of these pieces, so you saw them in a ring, and then going to split them in half and then rotate them slightly just to create more layers. But I figured this was going to be a little faster than trying to instead of doing 12 rings, I'm only doing 6 rings, then splitting them in half. The first 2 rings I'm just keeping normal, so really I guess it'll only be 8 rings, but this at least saves me a little bit of time, because I know these 2 rings will already fit together. So I'm gonna glue, or I'm gonna split everything now and then glue 4 rings together instead of just 2 rings. Alright, after nearly wetting myself when these 3 sections came flying off a second ago, got those all glued back up. I'll let that solidify and then flatten that back out before I put the next ring on. And then we have the next ring to start working. So I'm kind of working backwards. Let me show you. So working backwards, 6, 5, 4. Sections 4 are all done. They're just all gluing. So now we're starting to work on ring number 3. So I had the realization that I clearly have not cut and poured enough resin, because after 3 rings, 4 rings, this is all I have left. So I need to pour some more. I'm going to be testing. School's also out. I'm a teacher, so yay, summer break. But that also means I've now lost my environmentally controlled atmosphere that I've been casting my resin in. So I'm going to attempt to pour it here in the garage. One thing when you're casting a deep set resin is it takes 3 days or so, about 72 hours to cure. But you want to have that environment controlled, and it's usually you want to get above about 75 degrees. Well, it is summertime, so we're going to try and do this out here. When I came in the shop this morning, it was just right about 70 degrees, so hopefully this should work. So I would have to say that this experiment worked beautifully. A little cloudy, but not bad. So, yay, I don't have to use the school anymore. Awesome. All right, we're now on the last ring. Number 2 just got finished. Last ring, ring number 1. There's the size, and this one, instead of having 5 acrylic pieces and 5 acrylic pieces, I only actually need 5 because I'm going to split that. So we're going to split that. So instead of when I go to cut all my pieces in half, the split ring is going to be all wood on one half and then on acrylic on half. So I need to cut 5 because we're going to be on top and bottom, and then 2 rings. So the middle, very center ring is just going to be wood on wood instead of wood on acrylic. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, sit rep for this project. I have the two halves, and I haven't glued them together, but they almost fit together. They're less than 1/4 of an inch off from each other, so really good setup there. Moving forward to the next step. But before we get to the next step, I've been showing off all my Star Wars shirts. Check out this guy. My family gave me this for Father's Day a couple weeks ago. It's got a little Star Wars action here. Let's see what else we got going on here. The R2-D2 and Chewbacca and Boba Fett. And it's an amazing summer shirt. It's actually a Columbia brand. See if I can find that, leave a comment. This thing is amazing. So I'll be wearing this all summer. So, yes, continuing on.